Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to video 12, IAS 20, the foreign exchange. Applicable for both SBR and FR students. So in IAS 21, it is giving you guidance on accounting for foreign currency transactions. There are two types of currency that you should be aware of, functional and presentation. And this can often be asked as a discussion question. Okay. For example, what is the functional currency of the foreign country? Now, a company has to determine both its functional and presentation currency. Functional currency is the currency of the primary economic environment in which entity operates. IS 21 says that presentation currency is the currency in which entity is presenting their financial statement. Now, in determining functional currency, IS 21 specifies entity should consider the following: the currency that influences its sales price for goods and service, currency that influences the cost. If a company is a foreign owned subsidiary, it will have the same functional currency as its parent. If it operates with little autonomy, that means not much freedom is given to that foreign owned subsidiary. So they will follow the same functional currency as the parent. Once determined, functional currency should not be changed. Okay. Now, presentation currency can be any currency and it can be different from functional currency. This is particularly if the company is a foreign controlled, and foreign control as the presentation currency may be that of the parent. If the presentation currency is different from the functional, your financial statement has to be translated into the presentation currency. Now, individual transactions in foreign currency. If a company enters into a foreign currency transaction, okay, the result has to be translated and recorded in the accounting records at the rate on the date of transaction that has occurred, or using an average rate over a period of time, providing the exchange has not fluctuated very significantly. Now, a subsequent statement of financial position date. At subsequent, this following process has to be applied. If, see, you have to identify what you are exchanging. Based on that rate, you have to decide the rate. If it is receivable, payable, cash, loan, you will translate them using the closing rate. Okay. The closing rate is the exchange rate at the statement of the financial position date. This will be given to you in the exam. Okay, all these rates and all. You don't have to determine. You don't have to calculate. You just have to know which rate to use. So this for receivable, payable, cash, loan, they are grouped into one category. They are known as monetary items. Okay, receivable, payable, cash, loan. So this monetary items. Whenever you translate monetary items, it is always at closing rate. You have to remember. And second category, non-current asset, investment, inventory, they are not retranslated and they are non-monetary items. Okay, you will only translate them once and at the historic rate. Okay, or the date at the transaction rate at the transaction date. So any exchange differences that relates to the monetary items will be recognized in your statement of profit and loss. Why monetary items? Because non-monetary items you are not retranslating again, no, but monetary items, first time you will translate at the transaction date. Second time you will translate at the closing rate. So there will be difference. That difference is known as exchange gain or loss. That difference will go in your profit and loss. Okay. Now, if a company as a foreign subsidiary whose functional currency is their local currency, then the financial statement has to be translated into the parent's presentation currency. Remember, foreign subsidiary cannot keep their account in their currency. It has to be translated into the parent's presentation currency, because at the end you have to consolidate and currency has to be same when you're consolidating. Before you consolidate, you have to keep in the same currency. So all asset and liabilities will be translated into the parent's presentation currency at the closing date. Goodwill will be calculated. See, when it comes to goodwill is a tricky area. Asset and liabilities are easy, closing date. But goodwill, you have to calculate in the functional currency of the subsidiary first. Keep it in the functional currency of the subsidiary and calculate the goodwill. Then translate at each reporting date at the closing date, because goodwill is also an asset which comes in a statement of financial position. So it makes sense that you are going to translate it using the closing date. Okay. So then at the closing date into the presentation currency of the parent. When you calculate goodwill, be careful. Okay. Then any income and expense in the statement of profit and loss will be translated at the average rate. Okay. Income and expense. Any items that goes in your statement of profit and loss, use average rate. Any statement that goes in the statement of financial position, closing rate. Okay. Now, exchange difference that arises on consolidation will be recognized in other comprehensive income until you dispose the subsidiary. Once you dispose the subsidiary, then any gain and loss in OCI will be transferred into profit and loss. Okay. Exchange difference can arise from, this is very important. Okay. One, there are two areas how exchange difference can arise. First, when you are retranslating your opening net asset using the closing rate. See, opening net asset, first you have translated at opening rate. Now you are retranslating at closing rate, two different rates. That's why exchange difference can arise. Second, when you are retranslating the profit, okay, from the average rate to the closing rate. See, profit, when you first time translate, you use average rate. But second time when you're translating it, that means retranslating it, it is at the closing rate. First time when you're translating using average rate, it goes in the statement of profit and loss. Second time when you're retranslating it to include it in the statement of financial position. Now, these are the three exam kit questions you have to do: Hummings, Kerbis, and agency group. Make sure that you do it. And IS 21 is also a very frequently tested area because they also want to check your overseas aspect. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you in the next standard, that is IAS 23, that is borrowing cost. Thank you.